Hello foot fans and welcome to my WWE Payback 2015 predictions video. Well, I'm going to start by saying at the time of the recording of this video, there is no Diva matches on the card. I don't think this is going to stay, but just pointing that out, so I'm going to predict that there's going to be a tag team Diva match between the Bella Twins and the new team of Naomi and Tamina. Now, it's good to see Tamina back on TV, but I think she's just going to be the muscle, and as soon as they're done with her, she's going to be forgotten again, which is a shame because I like to see some difference in a Divas division, but they're just not going to use her very well. As for this team up, I just think it's only there so when she's fighting the Bellas, it's an even match, rather than going 2-on-1 when they're supposed to be the heels and the Bellas are supposed to be the faces. Which I like to point out right now, I don't like the Bellas as faces, especially the way they turned. It was just oh, she's turned heel, so we're going to have to make them faces, and no. But if this match does happen, I think that Tamina and Naomi are going to be victorious just because the title's not on the line, so why the hell not? But as for actual scheduled matches, let's start with the kickoff show, and that's Curtis Axel and Macho Mandal versus the Ascension. Now, I really did think we were done with this shit when Sandow left Miz and stopped the whole Mizdow thing. I thought finally we're going to step away from that and he can be a bit more of a badass. I don't think he's going to get as high as the WWE Championship, but maybe win one of the lowercase championships. Probably in the Continental Championship right now after Daniel Bryan's vacated it, but he could win that and start building a proper character. I'm not going to say he's going to win it straight away, but no. Obviously now he has to be Macho Man because Axel is Hulk, so they're going to be the Mega Powers. No. Especially considering you know full well that JBL is going to end up calling them the Average Powers or the OK Powers or some spoof that they're not as good as the Mega Powers, which obviously this is Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage we're talking about, and it's going to be difficult to build a team greater than that, but yeah. And of course they're going against the Ascension, which before they got to the WWE I was like, yay, come build them up and let's knock them out, but they've dropped the ball on them, so they're basically jobbers now. So Axel Mania and Macho Mandal will run wild on the Ascension, and I hate myself that I did that, but I did. Now the next match, Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus. Now I'm just gonna say straight away that I'm pretty sure that Sheamus is gonna win this match. The win back so they're level, and unless they're going to be put into the Money in the Bank Intercontinental Championship ladder match, yes, I have predicted that, then they're going to have a rematch at Money in the Bank. But back to the ladder match, yeah, I know they had only just had a ladder match at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship, but where it's Money in the Bank and the title's vacated, I just think the way they're going to say it is like, hey, we have an excuse to have a second Money in the Bank again, so they're going to put the title on the line. That's my prediction for now. But if they don't do that because of the ladder match at WrestleMania, then I think these two are going to have a one-on-one match to decide who's winning the rivalry, which, yeah, same old story, but to do that they need Sheamus to win this match. So there's not much more to say than that. Next match, the WWE Tag Team Championship match, 2 out of 3 falls. Now, I really am liking the New Days as heels. Their cockiness, and I like the fact they're abusing the Freebird rule, where they're all champions and it's just who do you want to defend the championship tonight, and I think that works. I'm liking Tyson Kidd and Cesaro as baby faces. They work very well. especially now you can do the big pop things with Cesaro, like the deadlift suplex on the corner and the Cesaro swing, and get the pop from the audience and use it rather than going, oh wait a minute, I'm supposed to be a heel and I'm making everyone cheer. So I do think these two work very well as babyfaces. But as this is 2 out of 3 falls, I'm going to predict each fall. So I'm going to say the first fall is going to go to the New Day, because then the heels get a chance to be extra cocky and the babyfaces have something to build up. Then I believe Cesaro and Kid are going to take the second fall, even out the odds, because of course 2 out of 3 falls, 9 times out of 10, you've got to then have a third fall, which will then be the New Day to retain the titles. I highly doubt that the New Day are going to have a flawless victory, but an idea I did have is maybe if they wanted to be sort of clever, they could mix it up where every single fall they changed the competitors with like the Freebird rule. So start off with Kofi Kingston and Big E, for example, and then after the first fall, then replace Big E with Woods, for example. Then afterwards replace Big E with Kingston. I think I've done that right, where all of them have been, but you get my point. All 3 combinations are put out there, and it's a way of giving the heels an extra advantage because they've got a fresh man. Next, the I Quit match for the United States Championship, John Cena versus Rusev. Now let me start by saying I'm really enjoying the United States Open Challenge. How I usually watch Raw is I'll watch it the next day, but then I will skip certain segments when they start to bore me, and usually I end up watching the beginning of a match, skipping the middle of a match, and then seeing the finish. So when they're doing all the rest holds, I just skip that because ain't nobody got time for that. But I've definitely found myself watching all of the United States Championship matches and enjoying them thoroughly. They are definitely main event quality. And this is John Cena bringing the title up, and where he's fighting someone different each week and making them go the distance, and he's going the distance and having a different match every week. Although I will say I think there's too many kickouts of the AA, but that being said, brilliant matches, especially the Sami Zayn one, brilliant. But as for this match, we all know what's going to happen. It's an I Quit match. Cena has never lost an I Quit match to my knowledge, and if he has, it was by trickery. So I really don't remember an I Quit match being lost by Cena at all. So Cena's winning. Although with the I Quit match, I've always had a finish I would love to see. I don't think it would work in this situation with Rusev, but what I would love, I think it would work brilliant with someone like Edge. Not that there is anyone like Edge anymore, but you know my character I'm talking about, very opportunistic, where often during the match they'll pick up the mic and then say the words I want to hear, say I quit. They've just said I quit. Yeah, they've not said it in the context of I quit, they're just saying the words I quit, but the rules of the match is make your opponent say the words I quit. So why don't they then use that and twist it and say he just said it, so I win, and then the referee calls it, and a way of twisting things and being very opportunistic. But yeah, next match, King Barrett versus Neville. Now, I don't think the new King gimmick is going to last very long on Barrett. I think it was mainly a way that they can say, hey, go watch the network, it's King of the Ring. You remember King of the Ring? It was awesome. So I think that was the whole reason they brought it back, was just to get people onto the network. So I don't think they're going to keep King Barrett for too long. They're going to keep Barrett, but I think he'll go back to bad news pretty quickly, like Sheamus did last King of the Ring. He only had King Sheamus for a couple of months and then he went back to Sheamus, so yeah. But one thing I'm very happy with is the way they're using Neville. Yeah, he hasn't been winning an awful lot, but the matches they've put him in, his second match in, they put him in with the world champion, so that's got to tell you how much they like him. And I don't like his look so much. The cape's fine, it's mainly his facial features, to be fair. His ears poke out, and when he's got the mouth guard in, he kind of looks a bit like a cartoon, like a stereotypical British cartoon sort of thing, like in Family Guy when they're like, oh yes, he looks exactly like that. I would lose the mouth guard. Like, He can't help the ears, obviously, but I don't think the mouth guards are doing him any favours. But in the ring is where he lights up. I don't see Neville being WWE Champion, especially anytime soon, but he would have a very long career, is my thoughts, unless something happens, which, yeah, anything can happen, but I do think the future is bright for him. So now, with these two, this is the third time they've competed. The first time was at Extreme Rules, then at King of the Ring final, and now this is going to be the last one. So I am finding it very difficult to see who's going to win, because they seem to be high on both of these guys. I think it comes down to, are they going to try and make the King Barrett gimmick work? Because if they admit to themselves, right, we just did it for King of the Ring, and now he's got to call himself king for a while until we can make everyone forget about it, but we don't want him king. So if they're like that, then I think Neville would win. But if they say, right, we've got this gimmick, let's try and make it work, then I think Barrett's going to win. And I know in the WWE, I think they're stubborn enough that they're going to make Barrett win, but I'm pretty sure that in Barrett's future what's going to happen is he's going to drop the king, become Bad News Barrett again, and then tag team with Sheamus and go for the tag team titles. That's what I think is going to happen with Barrett, at least. But yeah, I think Barrett's winning this one just because the WWE is too stubborn. And finally, the main event, the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Championship. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose versus Randy Orton. One of these guys is not like the others, one of these guys does not belong. Yes, ever since the Shield broke up, people have been crying out for a Shield triple threat match. We basically have that match now. Randy Orton's involved, but we have that match. I doubt we're going to get the triple threat that everyone wants, but oh well. But something I was very interested in was how this match came about. Was there was an app vote, and a lot of people think the app votes are rigged, which I agree with most of the time, but if you look at the way they're rigged, I kind of believe that the votes are counted, because most of the time it's like, what sort of match do you want these people to compete in? And it's do you want to compete in a hardcore match, or a no DQ match, or a no holds barred match? Now anyone who actually looks at the three situations knows these three matches are exactly the same match. It's just stupidity that there's like, ooh. Usually there'll be one slightly different, like it'll be a Extreme Rules match, no holds barred match, or a Falls Count Anywhere. Falls Count Anywhere has a little bit different rules where you can pin them wherever. So it's the same match, but they say, right, rather than the finish in the ring, let's do it outside. Wow, that's a big difference. But this vote was, do you want to see Roman Reigns for the title, or Randy Orton for the title, or the triple threat match for the title? Yes, it's evolved into a fatal 4-way match now, but people voted for the triple threat. But the thing I thought was interesting was that second place was Roman Reigns. Yeah, I think a part of this could be put down to, this was, I think it was the night after Extreme Rules where Randy Orton went for the championship, so it's we've seen that, now we want to see something different. But the way I've seen a lot of wrestling YouTubers go on about Roman Reigns, and a lot of the fan reactions from Roman Reigns around WrestleMania time, it made it seem like no one liked him. But if you watch the WrestleMania entrance for Roman Reigns, you'd notice that up in the cheap seats, everyone was all cheering him as he walked past them, and it wasn't until you got to the expensive seats, the hardcore fans, where they were sticking the middle fingers up in front of him and as he walked past and booing him, which makes sense considering it's the expensive seats where the boos get picked up more. If it's a contrast between the fans, between the casual fans and the hardcore fans, if there's a contrast, then it will be the hardcore fans that you'll be picked up on the mic, because they'll pay more for their tickets, so they're closer to the mic, so you'll hear all the boos. But I don't think Roman Reigns is as disliked as people assume. It's just the vocal minority that you hear, so everyone thinks, hey, he's disliked. But the more quieter fans, the ones that don't necessarily watch YouTube videos all the time, just watch the program or maybe just watch the pay-per-views, they're the ones that like him. But the ones that watch every single week, they're the ones that pay for the expensive tickets, they're the ones that dislike him, if that makes sense. Plus, I think the hardcore fans are starting to come round to him, so I do believe Reigns has a point. In fact, I've had a conversation with a friend of mine who has said in his Big Show match, which was quite a good match, surprisingly enough, considering it was the 1000th time, but the Last Man Standing match against Big Show and Roman Reigns was pretty good for a 1000th match. But he said, surprisingly enough, I like that match, but don't tell anyone. And just so you know, that was Jamie Hubble of the AEW. So give them a look in if you haven't. Check out, they just had a recent event, Rampage 2. I'll put a link in the description. But as for the main event, you know full well that Kane is interfering in this match and that Seth Rollins is walking out victorious. But I believe that the only reason Dean Ambrose has been put into this match is so he can take the pin, which I think is a bit ridiculous. But I do think he'll do well, and I do think it's a good sign that he's in this match, because it shows you a little bit more. I do think it was we've had too many triple threats lately. How can we fix this? Should we take someone out? No, we can't do that because they voted for it. Let's put someone in. So let's add Dean Ambrose so they get the triple threat they wanted with Randy Orton. But oh well. But Seth Rollins will walk out victorious so they can make a bigger deal when he finally loses. But overall, I think this is going to be an okay pay-per-view. I think the matches will be pretty decent. I don't think they're going to have any outlasting effects on the storylines, but yeah, I do think there'll be a few good matches. And fingers crossed, if they do add a Divas match, it's not frickin' Brie. Because if it's a singles match with Brie, then wow, because that match on Raw was awful. So right now, I would like to thank the Foot fans, because I've just today passed the 2,000 view mark, and I couldn't do it without people watching my videos, so thank you very, 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 very much. I hope you've liked this video, and if you have, please like, favorite, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments your predictions for this event. And I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again, make sure you check out the AEW Rampage, because I have a review of that, and then you can check that one out afterwards, and then maybe I can get up to 3,000, hey? Yay. I am the Food. Thanks for listening.